Týrcast number 9. This is the third episode of our second season. And if everything went as I hoped it did, you just heard our brand new jingle before this introduction. My name is Here, singer and guitar player of the band Týr, and I am in Prague.
Gunnar Thompson, bass player in Týr, and I'm in the snowy Faroe Islands at the moment, where it's very cold.
And I'm Tad, I'm the drummer of Týr, and I am sitting in Budapest. We had some snow as well, but it is already melting, so nothing new there.
I guess I should say something about the snow here. It's been decent weather lately, not too hot, not too cold, not too sunny, not too rainy, a bit of snow, a bit of rain, and not too windy, although a little bit, so... Are you okay, Gunnar?
Yeah, I swallowed, I don't know, something.
Bullshit!
Too much stuff to
That's
say.
what you meant.
Swallowed bullshit.
All right. So like I said, this is the Týrcast. Be silent, Gunnar.
Did you say that just?
I said be silent. We put out
Okay.
episodes on the 7th and 22nd of each month at 1700 hours Central European Time. That's 5 p.m. Central European Time. You should hit the notification bell and subscribe to this channel, like the video, and I lost myself there. I'm trying to look at my camera while I'm reading. It's difficult, so I have like a phrase in my head, look, and I forget the phrase while I'm not looking at the text. It's incredible that I can sing like, tens, maybe 50 songs without ever referring to lyrics and have it in all in my head, and I've been saying this at least 10 times now in a row, and I can't even remember that. Maybe you should think of it like a song and sing it at the start of the video. What I was saying is you should hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel and like this video. If you want to put a question to us, you can do that on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Týrband and sign up there. We will answer anything you ask us there as long as it's mildly appropriate. Heartfelt thanks to everyone who supports us there already. And that concludes the intro part. We talked about in last episode about Hamfer making some video thingy in the new subterranean tunnel in the Faroes, and I was checking it during the week, and I realized it was actually a live video, like you said, Thaddeus. I thought they just published a picture. The thing is, there's so little action in the video. I thought it was a picture when I pressed play. There's just the two of them, Jon and Theodor, and there's a static angle, and they're hardly moving. But they're actually playing a song, just the two of them. There may be some backtracks, atmospheric backtracks on it, but there's just voice and guitar. I don't know the original song, if this is a live version or the actual version.
Right. I think the first video I saw of them was during the solar eclipse. I don't know which one, I mean, years ago. And they were standing on some cliff in the Faroes. I think only the two of them, maybe? 3? I don't remember.
3.
But
3 of them, yeah.
I mean, just when you mentioned that there was hardly any movement in this one as well. I mean, they were just standing in the background, got darker and darker, then they disappeared, and then they came back, and they were, standing in their typical, very static manner. I was very interested back then already in that band.
Yeah, that was an interesting video. It was a solar eclipse in 2012, 13, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they didn't get to see it because they had their backs turned.
Right.
I remember I was out somewhere in the fields for a good view of it. It was quite cloudy and rainy that day, but
in the Faroes, no shit.
For Facebook, where you can see it, I made a time-lapse video of it.
Ah, okay.
So they have interesting videos, yes.
They sure have.
We don't have any interesting videos lately, except these, however interesting one might find them. But we do have some new demos coming.
Oh yes.
And as per the challenge in the last video, I put you to finish the demo before the recording of this podcast. It's not finished. I recorded some of the guitar, and it's not necessarily the final version. And I sent it to you, and I started writing the lyrics. I have maybe 2 or 3 lines.
It's gonna be English or a Faroese?
English, and it'll probably be the title track of the album.
Ooh, okay.
Spanglish.
Spanglish.
That's it. That's English and Spanish.
Well, I mean, of course, the...
Whatever that is, that will not be the language for this song.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Well,
it's
thank you
true.
for that.
We didn't finish the challenge from last time yet, but let's not forget that we recorded the jingle as well. That's more or less something.
Yes, it has been recorded. I'm pretty sure. Now, as we're recording this, it hasn't been finished, like mixed or
So
anything,
you're
but I think we can
pretty
make that.
and you're sure?
Don't you see? Well, yes, but
did I
it's
throw you
coming.
off?
It's on the way.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, if you have any comments you'd like to add about the new demo?
Well,
Oh, it's
actually,
gonna be fucking amazing. It's gonna be really amazing. You're gonna love this one. So,
Oh, yes.
it's a good song. It's a very good song. Lots of potentials. So, if we do our work right, it might just be awesome.
oh yes. First time I listened to the
I
song,
think it might.
It reminded me of Valkyria from the 2013 album Valkyria. So, right? That's right. 2013, 2012.
Yes,
13?
that is
Okay.
absolutely
Yeah.
correct. 13.
That is actually one of my favorite songs of that album. Well, actually, the whole album is quite strong, I have to admit. Although it wasn't me who played the drums on there, but I mean, George Collias, come on.
He did a decent job
Decent
of
job.
it. He was a very easy guy to deal with and extraordinarily professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's probably one of the world's best drummers, seriously up there with them. But he found the right beats, the right rhythms. You know, there's no real show-off drums on the album. It just fits so well with the music.
He was very focused on, which surprised me. He was very focused on what style it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what would work best with the song.
So we did ask him to put some blast beat in, and he said, "Nah, it's not gonna fit."
And he was right.
absolutely right, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, Another Fallen Brother, that's probably the most, intense song of that album, and
probably. Yeah.
still,
As for drumming,
yeah, it's quite demanding. I mean, it's fast, so
yeah.
it goes on a lot there, but even there, it's still definitely heavy metal music you're listening to, and he's not going or falling over on the other side to his extreme or usually extreme death metal drumming. So
yeah.
it's, this is the kind of professional drumming one should aspire to.
Yes, he's. I understand he's even in some jazz ensembles, so he really knows the whole spectrum.
I think he plays the guitar as well. I think he has some solo stuff going on as well, where he plays everything himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Talented gentleman.
Not a one-trick pony, eh?
No, certainly not. I was just looking through about my earlier correction about Hamfer. I just wanted to mention, I found it on local.fo. If ever you're interested in some news from the Faroe Islands in English, go to local.fo. That's local.fo, and you might find something interesting there. You're aware of that, Thaddeus, weren't you?
I am, of course.
And
I like
Gunnar,
that
you hadn't
sight.
the foggiest, and you still don't care, right?
Couldn't care less.
But going back to George Callias and his drumming, you know, every time I see somebody that talented and somebody that playing with that easy profession, I'm just getting a bit nostalgic about my own beginnings. You know, when I was starting out as a drum. Well, I started to play the drums in 1998. We actually talked about the story behind this whole thing in one of the earlier episodes, so just look at that. And well, I mean, I was 15 back then, and I just wanted to play the drums, you know. And but my teachers back then, I think they knew that I was a bit impatient, so they made me play on the rubber pads for a whole year. I was not allowed to sit behind the drums for like 12 or 13 months. And I was only playing single strokes, double strokes, and parallels in the first year. And they did that absolutely correct. In fact, they were not strict enough to tell me to really focus on the rudiments, because I'm now, in the last 2 or 3 years, I'm getting to realize how much I missed out on that, because I didn't care about the fundamentals of drumming, you know, or of musicianship as such. Do you have similar stories like that? I mean, just thinking back when you started out as a musician, or just to learn an instrument, what would you have wanted to know back then, you know, right now?
Well, when I started, it would be nice just to have had a teacher. I was 14 when I started, and my brother could play a tiny bit guitar, but you know, not really enough to teach me in any basic way. I wish I just got you know, access to a teacher or teaching material much earlier. I could have been 3 years further ahead. So I guess I was 17 before I really got anywhere. I started when I was 14, and those years 14 to 17 were just
dabbling.
Kind of wasted. I really loved playing the guitar, but looking at how, you know, how fast I could have learned it, there was a lot of wasted time there. I should have learned stuff like, you know, alternate picking, for example, immediately. That just you run into some problems when you're trying to get through some phrases, and why is this not working? Why is it not coming together? Just you have to practice your alternate picking with a metronome, and that was one thing. Then later, I knew almost immediately when I started I wanted to get into music theory, but of course that's not directly related to guitar. But that certainly helped, especially with songwriting, when I got more into that. A little bit when I was 17, and then much more later in my 20s when I went to school. Yeah. So, you know, just some basic technical theories, you know, extraordinarily basic stuff that it's so simple, you have to be told it once, and then, you know, how to practice it and do the rest of your life. But there were at least 3 years where I was doing nothing of the sort, just whatever I felt like doing, and you're just bound to do something in a less than optimal manner, which I certainly did.
Guns?
Well, it's like the same. A teacher would be nice. I really hadn't I must admit I chose the wrong. Obviously, I took the wrong instrument for me at that time, because I was definitely not fitted out to be a bass player. I would be more, to be honest, I would be more suitable for drums, because those things felt natural for me to play. Yeah. I mean, even first time I put myself behind the drums, I could play my first beat without trouble.
Right away.
Yeah.
Just a simple beat, but still. And bass, to be honest, I hadn't the foggiest idea what my function was.
Uh-huh.
It was really hard to get into, and I had big difficulties even hearing the damn bass on a song. And I think actually most people would have difficulty hearing what the bass is doing on a song, because the bass is it blends very much into the whole thing. So sometimes you can wonder, is that actually the bass you're hearing, or is it the low part? Is it the low end of a rhythm guitar you're hearing?
Yeah.
So all those things, I think like here it took many years before I actually started getting somewhere with the bass playing.
Yeah.
So, but to my amazement, I saw back on some old recordings we had of songs we made back then. Mind you, me and Hare were playing in the same band, and we already made songs back then. And I'm amazed about the bass line I made out by myself. They're actually quite awesome. So that's just so apparently there's some musicality, I guess, placed in there somewhere. But I'm still to this day. My techniques are bad, really bad. I have to figure out stuff how to do stuff. So. I don't find it easy by any means.
Yeah.
Still, today.
Let me get into the singing also. I started singing because we couldn't find a permanent singer. We were between the albums of Halford Asgard and Erik the Red. We were seriously looking for a singer. We tried several. We found none that fit, and I just didn't want the band to stop for that reason. So I decided to sing myself, and it was a bad decision at the time. Looking back at some of the albums, it may have been a decent decision, but I'm by no means a natural singer, and certainly not a natural entertainer. There are some serious things you have to figure out, and which may be actually impossible to do if it doesn't come naturally to you. About singing, I was already in music school in Copenhagen by then, so I deliberately chose the subject of singing because I was going to sing. I had been singing backing vocals in the band Gunnar and I were in for many years, but I mean, that was not at any quality level.
Just not the same.
It really isn't. It really isn't. So I kind of threw myself into it, and I suppose we owe it to Jacob Hansen that the result was decent.
Yeah,
it was.
Right.
I remember this very well. Me and Kara, the drummer at that time, we were thinking, what, he's gonna sing? What? This is, oh my, we just had, mind you, we had an album in between there with another singer, and it didn't go down very well, to say at least. Sorry for that singer, but he was a nice guy and everything. And here he said, he's gonna sing. And we just looked at each other and said, oh, here we go again. But to our amazement, when we started recording some songs, so we would live actually in that studio. There was a room beside the studio, and we would listen to from every session we had. So through the evening, and we would listen to what actually was recorded. It was amazing. It was like, hey, this might just work.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of good studio technique that goes into it, but at least by then I knew the basics about singing, even though it wasn't my natural environment, as opposed to the guitar. And it takes a lot of work for me, even now. Like before we go on tour, I have to practice for 2 weeks non-stop to sing at any level.
And for any a new coming band with new musicians and everything, I mean, please give your singer some patience. It's gonna take time. Believe me, it's gonna take time, but it's gonna work eventually because some actually figure out how to do it.
And it's never too late to go to a teacher. I mean, even after 20 plus years,
absolutely.
If you find a competent teacher, I'm visiting one every Monday for the last 2 years already, I think, and he is really good. I mean, he's a jazz drummer, but and he shows me stuff, and he makes me aware of stuff I should have known for at least 20 years now, and I'm like, hell, why didn't I know this earlier? Why didn't I care about this? This is so rudimental and fundamental, but it makes your playing so much better and so more smooth. It's amazing. So
if I could afford it, I would go to vocal lessons as well.
But there we come into another issue, which is unfortunately for us and for many musicians, is that really music is just a part-time occupation. I certainly don't have the time to sit here 8 hours a day with my instrument in my hand. It's just, I don't have the time for that. I never had. And I'm sure Hera, he didn't have time to do that either, because when he was back home, he was working as well. So, and to make ends meet, it's difficult. So
it is.
I think it's very cool that there actually is somebody who has the time to do that.
That's a good angle, because looking back at when we started, who on earth knew that we would end up here? You're really not looking at it like a job or a career opportunity, or you may think of it like that, but there's just no time to treat it that way. So that may, as I've told to everyone who wants to start into music business, you should start as early as possible and take it as seriously as possible, because it's going to make it easier in the long run. It's just, there's so many things you have to sacrifice to get there. Same for everybody.
Actually,
it's definitely like that for us.
Actually, if you want to have a good shot at this, I would recommend, if you start early, get a good job, get a very good acquainted with your boss. Then you can do music and you can do what you really want to do. You can do your job and you can do the music. So if the music turns out to, this is heading somewhere, then you can risk it.
It's
and you're still quite safe because you have something to, you have something to fall back on, So because everybody have to live.
Yes, or you decide to make something you can do as a freelancer. That's actually, this is why I became the translator. And I mean, there are, for example,
you have the perfect job actually for it.
Many musicians we know, they are programmers or graphic designers. They can do that on tour as well. They just need a laptop.
True.
Just like myself.
There was a time I was making a living by making videos for my YouTube channel. I had no time for that for the last 2 or 3 months, but that I technically could have done anywhere.
Yeah.
So those jobs are nice if you can get one.
Unfortunately, I'm a bit more hands-on.
That's true.
Yeah.
So those I cannot do on tour or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Tour. Oh, tour.
Tour story.
Speaking of tours.
Oh, you want to ease this into a tour story, right?
One of the first, maybe the second tour we ever did, second real tour on a tour bus, was probably the one with Amon Amarth and Winterson. The first one was in Germany with the apokalyptischen Reiter.
Ja, und die Reiter reiten weiter.
Genau.
Und die Toten reiten schnell.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually,
second one we did.
that was
if
a
I'm
good
correct,
tour
was
with the
without
rider.
Mars. That was a very, very good one.
Yeah. And actually, I got now. You talked about tour stories. You want to get into the Amanda Mark one? I actually have a good one from. Yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
Yes. They were inviting me. We were, if I remember correctly, we were in a place called Schwimmbaden or something in Germany. Baden or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
You mean the city, Baden, or Baden-Baden?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. And they invited me to go to a bath. They call it a Turkish bath. And I said, sure, I just want to go swim.
Who invited you?
The guys from the apokalyptischen Reiter.
I see.
And, well, a couple of them anyway. So I just accepted. And so I said, well, I don't have any swimming, what do you call it, trunks or whatever.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Kein Problem. So fine, I just went along with it. So I figured. I came to the desk and I said, is it possible to rent a towel? Ja, kein Problem. Well, and swim trousers. Man braucht das nicht. And my German was not that good, so I went, okay. Probably there's something in there. So anyway, so I went in. I went into this place, took my clothes off, and started walking, find a shower room or something. And then I came out of the shower room, I opened the door, and there comes this couple, butt naked, walking towards me. And I slammed the door tight and said, fuck! You know. And I thought, oh my God. And then they came into this room which I was in, and they just walked past me just like nothing. And I was like, what? And the guy say, it's okay, everybody does that here. So, what? So we went in there, in this room, and everybody was butt naked in this room. And there's lots of fantastic girls and everything. And needless to say, there was a cold pool, very cold pool. Mm-hmm. This guy was in that cold pool for a very, very long time. I think I actually got a cold.
I believe that was in Switzerland, in the Alps.
No.
Our day off?
No. This was in Germany. I'm
okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I just remember we had a very nice day off in the mountains somewhere. By a lake.
Oh yeah, that was later. Right by the place where Hitler's.
The eagle's nest.
Yeah,
thingy?
the eagle's nest thing. That's right. Yeah. He looks down on that.
That's in Germany as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that was in Germany.
No,
maybe
it is in Germany. It's right on the border between.
Maybe Germany was bigger back then. I don't know.
It actually was, but never in the direction to Switzerland.
I see.
It's called the Königssee.
Königssee.
Yeah, exactly. We're by the Königssee.
Yeah.
Amazing place.
So
it was one of the best days off on tour I ever had, I think.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, and we could look at the binoculars. We could look up to that Hitler place.
Well, what is it? A tourist attraction now, or?
Yeah, it's a tourist. My brother has actually been there. In the house, so. Not the thing you kind of want to see, but I guess, well.
So many
history.
jokes come to mind, but I will not. We could get demonetized and kicked off YouTube.
So actually, I think that's the better tour story I'll keep for this time.
That was a good one.
But I must say also, after a while staying in that cold pool, you kind of get relaxed, and you kind of
There's no danger getting up.
at the end you kind of was cool with everything, and it was a nice place, by the way. It had these rooms that you go into, which is you can choose what kind of light you want into the room, and there's some acoustic sound. I don't know what the hell it's for, but it's supposed to be very good. So it was a cool place.
One thing comes to mind. I was on I think with my former band, on 70,000 Tons of Metal, and I was sitting in the sauna, and I like to go into the sauna, and I was sitting after the gym and just sitting naked there, because that's how you go in a sauna. And then two guys came in with their trunks and t-shirts on, and they were just sitting right in front of me. You could see they were uncomfortable with me sitting there with only a towel. They were like, "Are you by any chance European?" Yes. Yeah, well, with a thick American accent. Well, we can see that. Why do you say that? You have to be Finnish or something, right? No, but why is that important? Well, where we come from, we don't sit naked in the sauna. Well, yeah, it's just a health thing, I guess. Yeah, well, all right, enjoy the sauna then. We're out here. They just went that. Yeah. Okay.
That is one of the cultural differences on the Americans and Europeans. Definitely.
Yes.
And
Actually,
the English.
The English are
seem to me a bit the same way as the Americans.
Yeah, could be.
Because I remember a certain band, if I mention them, we toured with Ailstorm, and we are not afraid to get naked. Let me just say that. And we scared the shit out of those people.
I'm afraid so. Many nice things happen on tour, and the events, and you also get to try a lot of different foods. There's a question from Olaf Harðardóttir, I think that is how you pronounce it. She asks, what are the most mentionable or noteworthy foods and stuff you guys have seen from the places you have been to? The first thing that comes to my mind is the last South American tour we did. I decided to do a meat-only tour, and we were about 2 weeks, and I ate nothing but meat, and it was the most amazing. They have the most amazing meat there. I think we spent a few days in Colombia.
Yeah,
we did
the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
and the promoter, invited us to the most amazing meat places, and I just got a plate full of meat and nothing else every day. That was heaven.
I really liked actually the same, but they served these fruits and stuff that they fry or something, or caramelize or whatever. Tastes fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely go for some of the South American cuisines, definitely. But I love sushi, and unfortunately, playing in Japan, I did not get my chance to try sushi.
Dude.
So next time I hope.
Absolutely.
So
it's funny.
But
funny that
and Spanish food, the Spanish seafood. I guess you call it Mediterranean seafood, I guess. Mm.
It's funny that you mentioned Japan, because I was thinking right away of a story in Tokyo as well. I mean, that was my first time when we were there in 2019. I think December. Yeah, that was it. And I went for a stroll and found this really small, very authentic Japanese place where you sit on the ground with very small tables, and the people there they didn't speak any English or anything else. They had their menus in Japanese and like a translation sheet for, okay, this means that, just point at what you would like to have and more or less we are going to understand you. And I mean, the food, it was nothing special. It was some rice with fried vegetables and stuff. But, well, I don't eat meat, you know that? Well, usually. No, mostly never. And it was, I mean, the whole ambiente of the place and the food, just eating a couple of hours before the show, that was really nice. Good. I would love to go back to that place.
Olaf Harðardóttir asks another question. As a fellow linguist, I wonder, what languages do you think in?
You'll be amazed.
It always depends. It always depends in...
Very often, English. English and Danish, because I'm Danish. I'm Faroese. But I more than once discovered that I do think in English sentence, I guess, or something. Why, I have no idea. Because my English is not that good. So, yeah, Thaddeus?
I think it always depends on the situation. I mean, with you guys now, I don't picture the sentences like when I'm speaking in German or Hungarian, but still stuff comes to mind already automatically in English. But sometimes I have actually two native languages. German is my first, Hungarian is my second, and sometimes it gets mixed up. But it always depends on the linguistic context I'm in. So with whom I'm talking, or about what topic, also. Sometimes, I mean, I was for some time I was learning Russian, and once I woke from a dream where I was speaking Russian fluently. I could even still remember some sentences I was saying in Russian, although I was not on that level back then, So it's funny.
I guess I think mostly in Faroese, it's hard to say sometimes. I mean, thoughts are abstract, and then they're presented to your conscience, and they, if need be, they go into a language. It's not always, when I'm working on music, I'm thinking in music theory, and it doesn't necessarily go to any language. Or if I'm thinking about something abstract, might go to geometry or something. But so it really depends on the situation and what you're thinking about, I think. The reason one might think in English sometimes is, the entire world of heavy metal is in English.
Yeah.
Everything you consume is in English, and the popular culture and as we grew up, Gunnar, was almost everything in English, if not Danish. So it's very easy to see how you could think in Danish and English as a Faroese person. I lived in Iceland for a year, and when I got decent enough in Icelandic, I could think in Icelandic about work and talking to my colleagues at work. And I lived in Denmark for more than 7 years. I could easily think in Danish for Danish friends and whatever I'm doing in Denmark, going to school, working. I lived in Germany. I don't think I ever got to the level where I was thinking in German. I don't think I can say that. I could get by, going shopping, and I could do the ordinary things, go shopping and interact with people about basic everyday things in German, but no more than that. Now I live in Czechia, and I don't think I've thought one thought in Czech yet.
That's when
I
you're gonna.
I would guess when it goes to a language, it's mostly Faroese. But these days, I think mostly in music theory.
Yeah, but I think you're definitely right about that. It depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
What how you think. Because I think I do all three. So.
Jennifer asks a question about the lyrics in Gates of Hell. When there is the line about the high road and the low road, because I'm Scottish, I automatically think of A. Loch Lomond and B. Runrig. Not bad musical associations, of course, but I just wondered what that meant anything to you. I remember when we wrote the song, well, Terje wrote all the basic music in it, Gunnar and I were working on it, and there was a completely different first line of the chorus. Everything else was as it is now, but we were listening, we were doing the production work on the album, listening to this, and we just thought the first line just doesn't work. Try something completely different. And it originally had nothing to do with Loch Lomond, but I just took the line directly from the song, you know, the words and the melody line, and tried to put it in there, and it worked. And so yeah, it's taken from the folk song, which is a folk song that I like very much. I played some acoustic shows, you know, just either me alone or with some friends, or even with my girlfriend, and I always play that song, Loch Lomond. One of my favorite Scottish folks, and
I think generally music from that kind of music is nice. Very
And
nice
by
music.
the way, the place itself, Loch Lomond, is beautiful. I've been there a couple of times.
haven't been there.
No.
I really should.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And she mentions Runrig. We played together with Runrig in the Faroes
Yeah.
once.
Ah.
In the Nordic House, even. I'm not sure why we were asked for
No,
exactly
that was not.
but
No,
there
no,
was,
no. It was not in the Nordic House. And that I'm sure it was.
No, it was in a sports. It was in a sports hall. It was in,
Yeah.
it was in one of the sports halls in Tórshavn. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And it was a pretty big show, and we were the warm-up act for Runrig. And I've been a great fan of Runrig ever since. They have some amazing albums, folk, pop, rock. Sometimes even a bit like Pink Floyd, you know, atmospheric, but very good, very folky. Next question from Heike. She asks about the video for The Lay of Our Love. What do you think nowadays about this video? And if you had the chance to create a new video today, what would it look like? We had very little to do with the making of that video. Our manager back then arranged the whole thing. In cooperation with the production team in was it Slovakia or
Slovenia, I think it was.
Yeah, it's all recorded indoors on green screen, and I think it's a decent video. But if you ask me to come up with the concept for a video from scratch, I think it might be a bit different. Exactly how, I'm not sure. A bit more gritty, a bit less polished, maybe a bit more.
Bit more hellish.
I don't know.
More
I'm not a
heathen.
visual. I'm not a visual artist. Yeah, maybe a bit more heathen. I do like the videos. A very high quality production.
Yeah, it's
Do you have any?
it's very
thoughts
nice
about that?
production. Not really. I thought it was an interesting video to do.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time we basically talked about doing this blue screen, green screen stuff. But we always thought it was way out of our price range. So it was interesting to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, storyline and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of
It
taken
was
from
a-
the lyrics, but it
Yeah.
might have been a bit less fairy tale-y. I don't know.
Yeah.
Högni Jakobsen asks, Would any of you guys leave Týr if you got an offer to join a big established band? What band would it be, past or present? Like if Steve Harris decided to retire from Iron Maiden and they called Gunnar to join them. Yes or no from Gunnar?
No. Definitely.
I would say equivocally no, unequivocally no to anything. I would not, no matter who asked me.
Unfortunately, music does not. Well, unfortunately, music does not work that way. Especially if you had, well, at least me and Harry, we made this band from the start of me and Harry and Carter. Not in that order. I was the last one. And this is something you have taken from its childish birth and brought upwards. So I could never leave. This is our baby. So I don't care if I could get a better job somewhere else. I would never fit in. You know, I would never come. How do you say? I would never be totally true with the whole thing, because you haven't been there from the start. So it's difficult, I think. So,
the fitting in part is very very interesting, because that's actually something I need for myself, like personally in a band. So and I totally feel or think that I fit in Týr. So I thought about, you know, helping out in other bands. Yay! It's good to hear. No, but seriously, I would not leave the band.
Is that not to say if you at some point decide to leave a band, of course, I guess you'll take the best opportunity that is around.
Yeah.
But
of course.
Yeah.
But when you're still in, I think that is definitely not your thought. So.
Next question from Franco Trani. How much is CD sales more helpful to you than streaming? It's impossible to say precisely, because we don't get very completely precise numbers from streaming. It's some algorithm that counts it up, and it's not precisely one stream, this and this amount goes to your account, another stream, this and this amount. So, but I can definitely say without any doubt that it's hundreds of times more income for us every time you buy a CD compared to every time you stream the whole album. Hundreds of times at least. Franco Trani asks another question. Would you like to tell about the instruments you are using? Since you ask, I might start and tell you about my custom-made Ragnarok guitar, Swedish handmade brand. I have a video on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the upper left corner. I think I'm pointing to the left to you, am I not?
The other one.
Left corner. And you can see all the specs about it.
Well,
instrument.
Well, right now I'm playing ESP basses. I've been through some basses, and I actually do have in Sweden, waiting for me, a bass that's made by Ragnarok guitars, which I unfortunately had no chance of getting my hands on, because it landed straight in this Corona mess, and he really wants me to pick it up at his place, so I haven't picked it up yet. So probably I'm gonna use that bass, and also I'm building my own stuff now, so if that goes down well, I might just use that. So we'll see what we got plans on. So, yeah.
I'm using a
Bring in. Here's my kit.
Yamaha Maple Custom. It's from the 90s. I bought it actually last spring, I think. It's in very good condition, almost over 25 years old, but yeah, it's very beautiful, very powerful sound. I very much like the thicker shells of these ones. And I'm endorsed by Istanbul Agop cymbals. I really love them. It's been twice at the factory in Istanbul itself. It's amazing. And by a Hungarian custom manufacturer for snares. It's called Angel Drums. They make absolutely astonishing stuff as well. But I'm going to make a video about this and then put it on my own Patreon in, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. So if you're keen to know about the stats, have a look at that.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes the questions. A bandmate challenge for today. Whose turn is it?
It's mine, and you're going to love this one.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no. No. Shut up.
Yes. I mean, you can say no, but come on.
No.
So, my challenge is, guys, go vegetarian for 2 weeks. And since I am a vegetarian, I'm going to go vegan for 2 weeks. So, vegetarian, you know, no dairy products.
Good
no
luck
eggs.
with that.
Sorry. Vegetarian, you can eat dairy and eggs, but as a vegan, no. So you just...
Can I eat fish?
No fish.
What if it died on its own accord?
No. No gray zones here. No. 2 weeks, guys. 14 days.
What
it's not
if
that
it
difficult.
accidentally swam
What if it...
and fell into the pot?
No.
What if a spider crawls into my mouth while I'm sleeping?
Yeah, okay,
And
that still goes.
That's
you.
good.
Oh, the
That-
spiders.
All the spiders.
That's good
all
proteins.
The spiders.
All right, this one's been dragging on for quite a long time.
Yes.
Let's rush on and remind people that they can follow us on Instagram, where we are Týr_official. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where we are Týr Band. Track us on Bands in Town, please, where we are at Bands in Town, where you'll find us at bandsintown.com/Týr. And they will notify you when we go on tour again, so you don't miss all our upcoming shows. Please listen to our music on Napster, Tidal, Apple Music, Deezer, or Spotify, or even right here on our YouTube channel, where we are slowly uploading song by song until we have uploaded them all. Please visit our website, Týr.fo. At the bottom of the front page, you can sign up for the Týr newsletter, and you can get some nice merch on the same page. If you want to put a question directly to us, please sign up at patreon.com/Týrband, and we will answer your questions here on the Týrcast. As I said, we put out episodes on the 7th and 22nd of each month at 1700 hours Central European Time. That's 5 p.m. Central European Time. Thank you all for being here with us, and let's stay connected during these horrible COVID times. I hope to see you back here on the 22nd of February at 5 p.m. Central European Time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.